The West Virginia Mountaineers get some needed positivity on the basketball side with a massive commitment from four-star center Aliou Dioum.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers on the basketball side of things today, and we're glad to be doing so as they have landed a huge commit for the 2026 cycle in 6'11" center Aliou Dioum. We're going to be talking about that, what he means, what he brings to the table, what is his skill set, what does he do well, and what he told me. Also be discussing some football stuff, obviously, in the next segment. Where do we go from here? What am I expecting over the next week? That kind of thing and all that. And then final thoughts, as always, as we just kind of make that a segment for whatever is on our minds at the end. So that's the slate. Let's get to it, guys. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. All right, so as mentioned, West Virginia gets a massive commitment from Aliou Dioum. But who is he? What does he bring to the table? We've talked about him a couple times on the channel recently. We'll go back into it again and do a full breakdown, absolutely, because I think this is one that is a big-time get for West Virginia, obviously. We actually spoke with him, I want to say a couple weeks ago. And I think I may have the picture still. Let's see. Well, I can add it really quick. So here's a photo that he gave to me of his visit over I don't know if it was Brawl weekend or if it was opening weekend. I think it was opening weekend of the season, where he sent me this picture where he was with Coach Estelle from West Virginia, one of the staff members for West Virginia, on a recruiting visit, really enjoying his time. As you can see, he's a very large person. Sitting down, he's the same size as Coach Estelle is standing up. So literally, like, not even exaggerating this if you're listening, that's how big this guy is. He's basically 7 feet tall, probably will be 7 feet tall by the time he gets to West Virginia. So 2026 4-star guy, Bella Vista Prep. He's also bounced around in different other things as well. Obviously this is the first 2026 pledge for Ross Hodge and company. And with just 2 centers on the roster in Abraham Oyedir and Harlan Obioha, why are all these names so hard to say? This is going to be instant help for the front court for West Virginia. So let's blot this out. Who is he? What is he? Who were the finalists and all that? So, obviously he plays AAU with Team Mello. He was in the Nike IBL. He's ranked the number 15 center in the country, number 11 for Rivals, and number 27 overall player for 247 Sports. He's a top 100 player and a 93-86 in the composite rank. He's got an elite 7-foot wingspan. He's twitchy with the athleticism. I would say Kevin Garnett kind of comparison early on. Poor man's Kevin Garnett. What do you want to say? That's the kind of player he is. His IBL stats from last season: 13.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, and a block and a half game. He's a really efficient finisher around the rim. Think lobs, putbacks, blocks, running the floor, those kind of things. He's a deer out there. His high school ball, really limited because he's now, he's obviously international. He's now stateside for the first time. I expect an uptick in his senior year. I expect his rankings to develop as well. If you look at his final 6 teams, he had a bunch of basketball schools after him in West Virginia. The West Virginia is the only one of these that's technically a football school, in my opinion. Well, and Mississippi State. So he had Illinois, Syracuse, UNLV, Wake Forest, Mississippi State, and West Virginia were his top 6. West Virginia and Mississippi State, technically the only 2 football schools of the bunch. So I thought that was interesting that the football school won out, although we do put a huge emphasis on basketball at West Virginia. I mean, it's the second biggest thing in the state. So he said Coach Hodge's vision helped win this battle for him. I think he provides immediate depth. He'll probably you can expect him to get 15 to 20 minutes a game as a freshman. He is a talent-wise, he's a starter for a top 25 program type player. By year 2, you're talking about, well, he'll probably be rotational in year 1. By year 2, you're talking about full-time starter for a top 25 type team. And he's got NBA upside. If you want to talk about Clint Capella, Jaren Jackson, Kevin Garnett, somebody like that, an elite rim protector with offensive growth potential, especially if he adds 20 to 30 pounds. I think at West Virginia, he's going to be a fan favorite in the Coliseum because of his energy, man. He's an energetic player, and he can shoot the ball too, which we'll talk about. And in the offensive side of the ball, he's got a smooth mid-range jump shot. He's a rock-solid finisher at the rim. He's a lob threat. He runs the floor. He can pick and pop. He can pick and roll. He's got face-up game. He's got footwork. He can go over left shoulder. He can go over right shoulder in the post. And, his range will extend. Right now, it's really good in the mid-range and about average in the three-point. But for a center, you'll take that all day. So he's got elite ball handling for a center. Which you'll see. He's end-to-end, dribbles under control. He can attack off the dribble left or right. He actually likes to go left and finish with the right in a lot of cases. He's very under control. And like I said, he likes to attack off the bounce, which adds a playmaking edge to him for being a center. On the defensive side of the ball, he's a disrupting length. His length forces tough passes. He can be a force. He really blocks shots at a high clip, 1.5 blocks per game. And he's got great timing on the block. Not to mention he's got 7 feet wingspan that helps along with that. Obviously, the high motor is a big thing. He crashes the boards on both sides of the floor. His athleticism is very good. It's guard-like in some cases. He's pretty quick. He's a quick leaper, nonstop energy, and he's got a thin frame. So that's his really biggest downside. I think that limits his post physicality. So he's probably not going to be a big as far as on the block, calling for it, sealing people off, that kind of thing right away. But down the line, once he gains some strength, the sky's the limit. Overall, I think you would call him a toolsy prospect. In other words, he's got, defensive polish already. He's got some offensive polish already. He can do a little bit of everything. So he's kind of got a do whatever mentality. Like, I'll do whatever you need me to do if you watch him on the floor. On the hard edge meter, we've got a hard edge meter for this guy out of 50. Based on the IBL taping against the best competition, right? This is the way we're going to do it. I've struggled with it because I feel like he really has a shot to be a really good player for West Virginia. So his shooting right now, I give a 7.5 out of 10. I think he's got a reliable mid-range game. He's got rim touch. His threes are they're feasible for sure. He can shoot them. But I don't know about this next level up, how it's going to be. I give him a 7 out of 10 in rebounding. He averages 6.2 rebounds per game. I think as he gets stronger, that's going to get better. His ball handling is an 8.2 out of 10. He really stands out as a ball handler. He dribbles left. He dribbles right. He does some functional stuff that you don't see bigs do. And he's really controlled on the dribble drive, which sets him apart for a big. Defense is 8.5 out of 10. He's got length. He's got high IQ. He's a quick leaper. He can be a lane eraser, and he gets back on defense to anchor the other side. So his athleticism is an 8.7 out of 10. He's twitchy. He's always going to be fat. He's always seems to be a step faster than the guys he's guarding because he's guarding bigger guys, but he's so quick and twitchy. So I think that's one of his biggest superpowers. For a total composite score of 41.7 out of 50, he's got top 100 upside, obviously, in the rank right now. I think he can get up to top 50 if he really has a big senior year. And, this is huge upside for Ross Hodge and company and can really be the tone setter for this class in 2026. So final take on this. This is the spark West Virginia needed on basketball. I think he's an active, skilled, hungry player. Mountaineer fans are going to be happy with this. Let me know down below how you feel about it. Are you happy with this addition for West Virginia? Is this a player that you think could help West Virginia into the future? And what does that look like for you? So you're looking at the wrong things, Tommy. There are more than one. You just want to be negative about it. At the end of the day, he is a 4-star player. I mean, you could look on whatever site you want to look on. I'll just go ahead and pull it up just to prove you wrong, though. By the way, guys, we have some highlights of the player as well, if you'd like to look at that. Because he's a dynamic player, man. Definitely dynamic player for sure. I think he's one of those dudes that, really come on strong when you look from a developmental standpoint. Like, I really think he can crush it for West Virginia at some point. So obviously he's a 4-star in the composite rank, which is what I said, which means that total all rankings combined, he is a 4-star player. So that means that he's a 4-star player. Pretty simple. So anyways, if you're just listening to this, it would, I was showing, I don't know if it was 247 or Rivals. It was 247. So 247 has him ranked 4-star in the composite, which means that between On3, Rivals, 247, he averages out to a 4-star player. Anyway, let's go to break first. We'll come back. We'll show a little bit of film on this kid, and then we'll get back and we'll talk some football because I have a couple opinions I wanted to jump into before I do a video later on more. Because there's some other stuff that's coming down the pike that really worry me, which we'll talk about. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by the Game Cap, guys. With the Game Cap, you have to remember, we have a quick question for you college football fans out there. If you could go back and sit in time and sit in front row at your school's biggest rivalry game, what hat would you be wearing? Yes, I said hat. For me, it would be obviously West Virginia's. I want that hat versus probably Virginia Tech. I want the hat from the 90s during that game. Obviously the Black Diamond Trophy. Well, some of those hats were exclusive back then, the trucker hats. And these aren't just hats as well. They're the same Bennett styles worn back in the 80s and 90s. And guess what? They still go for the same price they did back then. When you use the code Locked On, you will get your vintage hat for $16.99. All you have to do is head to thegamecaps.com. That's thegamecaps.com to grab your team's classic bar or retro circle design and use code Locked On for an exclusive discount because legends, they wear the game. All right, we are back here Locked On West Virginia in segment 2. Let's crack open this dude, baby. I am excited about this pickup. And this is just going to be really quick. We're not going to take a long time on this because we want to get into the football stuff. But obviously, Aliou Dioum is a monster player that has a lot of upside. Watch here. Now you'll get to see him do some other stuff as he is a pretty talented player overall. Here he is. Obviously, he's in the triple threat position, and you'll see those guard skills we were talking about right here. Pivot, left foot, and then Boom. Nice little floater in the middle of the lane for a big guy like that. Here he is at the 3-point line dribbling. Obviously, a much smaller defender. As you can see, cut. Now he's posted up. He's got the ball blocked. And he shoots a mid-range jumper, really smooth. So he's got that. Here you can see him on defense. Tap the ball out to somebody. Now here he is on the baseline. No, he's not him on the baseline. I'm sorry. Getting a rebound underneath and putting one back. Here he is getting another rebound on the offensive side of the ball and putting it back as well. And these are against really good basketball players. If you go to his other page where he is, let's see. Thought I had it on here. There it is. Okay, so his personal page has a couple things on it as well. Well, I thought it did. Obviously, that's not it. Okay, yeah. So there we are. All right, so here's one with him. You see him put the ball between his legs, dribble between the. I mean, that's an impressive play, really. Turn the volume down so you can hear me over that. But taking it back, here he is at the 3-point line. 1-2 between the legs, taking the left hand against a 7-footer and driving him to the lane. I mean, that's just impressive for a guy that size. You know, here he is at 3, splashing. So, you know, just a terrific looking shot. If you look at the form, I mean, the footwork looks good. Look at the shot. I mean, that's about as good as you can ask for a big guy. And a great release and a great shot. As you can see, he's skied for that rebound there. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about the quick leaping ability he has. As you'll see on the rebound here. I mean, look at that. His head is almost going to hit the rim here. Way above a guy his own size. And this is one of his greatest superpowers, the ability to out-leap people. That's not going to go away, guys. And imagine when he gains 15 or 20 pounds in muscle, he's going to keep that same explosion, and he's still going to be able to leap. He's probably 25, 30 inches off the ground here, which is great for a 7-footer. So, you know, he's very raw in some ways, but he has got a ton of ability. If you get him in the right situation, and there he is on blocking, and that's probably, you know, overall, I think this is probably where he'll impact West Virginia first, is he blocked this guy easy. It's not even really close. I mean, that's an easy block for him. And that's where he's going to impact West Virginia the most, in my opinion, early, is on the defensive side of the ball. So let me know how you feel about it. Overall, I think that's a monster pickup for West Virginia, obviously. And absolutely, I'm excited about the future with him. He is a good player. So congratulations to Aliou Dioum. And we'll figure out what his name sounds like when Tony mentions it, whatever day that is. Ranger Book, it'd be a foul piece in West Virginia uniform. That's probably true. Obviously, you know, pivoting into football, had a day. Obviously, we've all had a night to sleep on what happened. Very disappointing day yesterday. I think what sucks is there aren't many answers to be had. You're down Jaden Bray on offense, which makes a big difference as far as from blocking. Obviously receiving. You know, those two things they matter. You know, Landon Livingston going down. I don't know how much this is going to disrupt things. I think he was playing good, average. I don't think he was a lead or anything. He's not Zach Frazier, obviously. So, but he's young, and you wanted to see him stay in there and continue to get better. Obviously, you don't want him to get injured, but I'm just talking about from a pure on-the-field standpoint. I think you've got a more experienced player in now with Carson Lee, who I think is a good football player, but we'll have to see. You know, moving forward with what we have on offense is going to be tough. I think Sincere Bowers can help us, but he's not the kind of player that's going to bust through a congestive hole. He's the kind of player that you need to give space. You need to get him out in space. And unfortunately, we're not doing that. What sucks is you've got a Utah team coming in next week that's good on defense. Better than we are on defense overall, I would say. And it's probably going to be a knockdown drag out, but I do worry about the quarterback run game next week. Can Dampier get out and move on us like Jalen Daniels was able to? It's going to be wait and see time. But Utah is a little bit better matchup for us, in my opinion, than Kansas was, because they're not a passing team. They're a running team, and we're okay against the run, although we did get beat up yesterday. But that's because of how tired our defense got. It's not a great excuse, but at the end of the day, that's what happened. When you go 3 and out on 6 straight possessions, your defense is going to get gassed. That's just the facts of the matter. Unless you're 3 or 4 deep at every position, you're going to get gassed. You lose Fred Perry. That hurt a bunch, obviously. So there were multiple factors to it. I think at the end of the day, if I had my druthers, I would be really happy to see at least what Max Brown could do. Maybe, you get through these next 2 weeks, and if you can go 1-1 the next 2 games, you take that, and then you go into the bye week, and maybe you take Scotty Fox, or you take, Jalen Henderson, or you take Max Brown, and you just give them all the reps. In my opinion, I think that's the way forward. You pick a guy and you give him all the reps going forward. That's my opinion on it. I think that's what we need to do. Curious to know how you guys feel. Let's go to break. We'll put a bow on this one here after the break. And, obviously I want to talk a little bit more about some other positions as well that I have questions about, like the offensive line. There just has to be changes made. We'll talk about it next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. When it comes to FanDuel, the NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for a kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your team wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye out for your fantasy lineup. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app today and now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. And, of course, our friends over at Square College are also here for you. And what we have to say about that is your neighborhood spots run on Square. Obviously there are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home. Whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your heart order by heart, or the corner deli that's been saving your community for decades, these are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. These local spots are what make neighborhoods feel like home, and so many of them run on Square. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. See you in the neighborhood. Back with Locked On West Virginia in segment 3. No Mazda. All right, so here we are with another situation brewing as far as the offensive line goes. You lose Landon Livingston, who I hated to see go down yesterday. We've got to talk about, and I have to go look and see. I haven't actually looked today, but let's look on the fly really quick and see if there's anything. Okay, so Pro Football Focus grades on offense. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Carson Lee played extremely well at center, 63.8. But so was Landon Livingston at 62.3. And that's bad because 63.8 is like, you're making a concession to say that's good. It's average. Rodney Gallagher was the best on the offense with 67.8. He's continued to be very consistent. Tykes Crawford, Kima Makaniole, and Nico Marchiol. No, just really bad. Tykes Crawford at 41.3, Kimo Makaniole at 45.1, and Nico Marchiol at 50.2. You know, those two are huge liabilities. And I've said this multiple times here recently. I don't know when Xavier Bosley's going to get healthy, but the sooner the better. And if he's able to go this upcoming week, you got to figure it out. I think you got to get him some snaps and get him acclimated back into the offensive line. And then, you know, somebody else, just name a guy. Malik Ogbo, however he says his name. I would like to see him play some. I mean, surely to God, there has to be better than what we're getting. There has to be. It can't get worse. But maybe it is. I mean, you know, I don't have words for it, really, guys. I mean, if you look at defense, Michael Coach Jr. played an elite 80.8. Nate Gabriel played good at 69.3. Braden Siders played good at 68.1. Ben Cutter was really bad at 35.4. Holy crap. Reed Carrico, 49.9, and Asani Redwood, 52.1. You know, pass coverage was okay. Tackling was really bad, though, yesterday, guys, especially once Fred Perry went down. So there's a lot of stuff, you know, it's just you can have bad days, you know, sometimes on the offensive line. You can bad days sometimes at linebacker and win a game. But you can't have bad days at linebacker, quarterback, or offensive line. You know, you just can't. It's impossible. This team continues to really disappoint. And obviously it's year one, guys. I mean, I don't think patience is a word that people are accepting of anymore, but certainly we don't have a choice but to be. So that's where it's at. We have to try. No choice. We'll see what they fix. Obviously, we'll see what they fixed. I'm worried about it, but, you know, it would be just like Rich, just like we said last week against Pitt. It would be like Rich to lose against Ohio and beat Pitt. It would also be like Rich to lose to Kansas and beat Utah. So we'll continue to monitor it all here on Locked On West Virginia for sure. It looks like Utah's 11.5-point favorites in Morgantown. People keep telling me. Thanks, Daniel Sargent. We'll continue to see what happens there, too, with that line. Believe it or not, I like West Virginia to cover that. I'm not just saying that. I didn't see enough out of Utah's offense to be scared of them last week. Maybe Texas Tech's at a lead on defense. Maybe they are. Texas Tech spent $30 million on their roster. I confirmed that earlier with their play-by-play guy, Chris Level, who hosts Locked On Texas Tech. They spent $55 million on the entire university, like basketball, football, everything. And 30 of that went to football. So, you know, Texas Tech spent about another $10 million over the cap than what most of us did. We're probably more like $15 million over the cap. So can you imagine if we were able to double what we spent? You know, we would be good too. We would have a great offensive line. We would have great linebackers and the defensive, you know, so and a quarterback, but we don't. So, you know, we'll see what we keep from this year into next year. I'm worried about it to an extent, but, you know, we just have to hope that Rich Rod and company can fix this in this era. Otherwise, this program goes away, and that's a fact, right? Well, it's one of the scariest things to even think about is 2030 is 5 years away. We all know the conference realignment is probably going to hit again then. And if you're not good in the next 2 years, it's going to look bad because I think you need to at least have 2 to 3 years of sustained really good, being really good to be in everybody's minds for when all that happens. Otherwise, you're just going to be looked at as a bottom feeder program and not even considered if it comes to that. Maybe it won't come to that and everybody stays in a conference. But, the thing I feel most pressure about is that 2030 date or 2031 or whichever one it is. If West Virginia is not able to get back to what they were under Rich the first time around, hell, I'll even take a notch below that, one notch below that, like where Bill Stewart had it, 9 wins a year or whatever. You're going to be left behind. And I don't think I could handle that, Could you imagine being an FCS program or group of 5 program? I don't know that I would be able to watch football anymore. I would probably just go all in on politics or something. I don't know. Find something to be obsessed over. Like waking up with the chance to win it all means something. I know we'll never will, but waking up with the ability to do it. Rich Rod tells us in the offseason, you can win a national championship at West Virginia. And I like living in that delusion. So call me crazy, but that's the truth. All right, guys. I'm going to jump off of here. Oh, and one other thing is Trinidad Chambliss is absolutely killing it at Ole Miss. I showed people last night's stream the messages between him and me where he wanted to come to West Virginia. That makes things frustrating too a little bit, It is what it is, man. I'll see you guys later. By the way, before you go, it's another big moment for Locked On college football fans as Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, and former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season and only on Fire TV. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. This episode's over, and we're out of here. Q Country Roads.